Hi, hey, hello, how's it going? It's Emily. And today we're going to be doing a TBR video, the full-on TBR Grand Prix. I haven't done this in a few months. I think in December I just knew exactly what I wanted to read. I didn't want there to be any guesswork about it. And then the past couple of months, or the past few months, I've focused on unwrapping books from my TBR. I focused on some of the standalones that kind of went along with each month. So I kind of had a game plan that I didn't want to get messed up. But today we're going to be doing TBR Grand Prix. It is back, and I figured a way to incorporate my wrapped books into TBR Grand Prix. So normally what happens, for those of you who haven't seen it before, I'm a huge Formula One fan. And so my TBR game is themed off of Formula One. And I go around the track. Some of the spots have to do with gameplay and kind of moving around the board. Some of the spots are team spots and represent specific teams. Those are the slots where I actually draw what normally would be a prompt from cards. So this time, instead of drawing prompts from cards, I'm just going to be drawing the numbers. So really just a different way for me to draw numbers for random books on my TBR that are wrapped up like birthday or Christmas present, and I'm going to unwrap them. And we're just going to do it all in one video. And I do have some other things going on in April, so let's talk about that. The main thing being Magical Readathon. So let me bring up some of my notes here. So I do participate in Magical Readathon, and I am doing is it the Scribe? Is that what it's called? And so for spring equinox, we've got 5 prompts corresponding to 5 different areas of study, and I'll link the announcement video down below if you're not familiar with Magical Readathon. Basically, you go to a university or some sort of academic setting and study classes for a magical career that you think you might want. It's super fun. And so the first one I need is elemental studies, and that is to have a temperature word in the title. Now, some of my wrapped books could meet this. Most of them don't, but a few of them do. So we can just hope that I unwrap one of those. Inscription is a day of the week in the title, so I could read another Thursday Murder Club book. I think having a day of the week in the series title is at least hopefully close enough. But I'm reading those with my partner, listening to them on audio with my partner. But right now we are on a Dungeon Crawler Carl kick, so I don't know if we're going to want to go back to a Thursday Murder Club book when we're in the middle of Dungeon Crawler Carl 6. So the other closest thing I have for that is 0 Days. And this is a thriller by Ruth Ware. This is one of I think at this point, one of only a couple of Ruth Ware books I haven't read yet. I haven't read The Woman in Cabin 11, and then I haven't read this one. I think those are the only 2. So I'm thinking at least having the word days in the title is at least, can that be close enough? Does that count? I don't think G will get mad at me. And then for spells and incantations, we have something that's currently on the bestseller list. So for this, I figure this could tie in nicely with my plans to continue the Sarah J. Maas universe. And I'll be reading A Court of Wings and Ruin. And then I'll be jumping actually to Throne of Glass. So either of those are on the bestseller list. And so not a problem there. Restoration, we're supposed to ask for 5-star titles from someone and pick one of their 5-star titles. So I can either ask a bookish friend here on YouTube or find something on Instagram that's like, here are my recent 5 stars, and like a 5-star roundup, and then pick one of those. I figure either of those options could work. So TBD on that one. I have actually bookmarked one recently that had Metal Slinger on it. So if I don't see anything else that comes up, I might slot Metal Slinger in here, and I'll get to this in the actual vlog that I have planned for these for these reads. And then the last one is Lore, and this is a dystopian or utopian book. So because there are so many I'm excited about, I might do an entire dystopian vlog reading Conform and Daggermouth and maybe Divergent. I never actually read the Divergent series. So anyway, I'm going to hope that some of the things that will be helpful to what I was just mentioning, for the ones that are wrapped up, I'm just going to hope that we unwrap them. And if we don't, we'll deal with it. It'll be fine. It's not a big deal. So I think that's all I wanted to say for the intro. So let's actually go ahead and play my TBR game, and we'll see what the TBR game has in store for me this month. Okay, and here we are all set up, ready to go. We've got the cards that actually have the number of my wrapped books over here. We have the radio messages up there. You'll kind of get the hang of it as we go along. So let's get started. Okay, we have a 2. So 1, 2, and this is the Haas team spot, which is the second team spot of the 4 that we've got in line right here. So we're going to go to the second deck here. Ooh, if I can get it. And we will have number 36. All right. Okay, so our first pick was number 36. And I actually do know what this is because it is the biggest book that was wrapped in this strawberry paper. And I'm so excited about this. All right, let's show you. It's Dire Bound. And actually, this is what I was thinking about to read. So my birthday's in April, and so this was what I was thinking about to read during my birthday weekend, because I figured I could just read whatever I wanted. And since I knew exactly which one was Dire Bound, I could find it and unwrap it if I wanted. But the TBR Grand Prix gods have been smiling down on me for my birthday month and got me Dire Bound. So this is probably what I'll read during my birthday. So that is incredibly exciting. I've heard nothing but wonderful things about that one, and I've heard that it's basically Fourth Wing, but dire wolves instead of dragons. So I'm down. Let's go. All right, next roll. And next roll. Okay, so we have a 3 here. 1, 2, 3, and DRS is the drag reduction system, which actually isn't a thing this year, but that's a side story. And this basically just means that we get to roll and just keep moving right along. So on to the next roll. Okay, we got another 3. So we've got 1 past the first crash spot, 2, 3. So this is the Mercedes spot, which is the first team spot. I always have them in a line of 4. So that's the first team spot here. So let's take the top card. Lucky number 19. Okay. All right, and the next one got us, I forgot to hold up card 36, but the next one got us number 19. So let's unwrap number 19, shall we? Oh, the Scorpion and the Night Blossom. Okay, fantastic. This one includes trials of some sort, so I'm excited about that. And I actually recently ordered, and I knew it was a risk, but I recently ordered the copy or the second Fairy Loot edition, or the Fairy Loot edition of the second book, you know what I mean? And so if I don't like this one, I can always cancel that order. So this is actually very convenient timing to read this one, to make sure I actually enjoy it enough to want the second book in this series in a Fairy Loot edition. But I just know it involves trials and immortality, and should be a good time. All right, next roll. And our next roll. Okay, we have a 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is a radio message. So we get to pick up one of these. Let's see what this says. I see blue flags up ahead. Copy. Please allow the car behind you to pass and go back 2 spaces. Okay, so we're going to go back a couple of spaces. And this just means, so this is a tire. It's supposed to represent a tire, like getting your tire replaced in the pits. So this just means that I can replace one book of my choice if I really want to. So if I don't want to, that's fine, but I have the option to change one book so far. That's what that means. All right. On to, another 6. Let's see what that is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so this is the McLaren spot. So that's the 4th team spot. So we're going to go to the 4th deck right here. Number 32. All right, number 32. So we have number 32 here. Let's open her up. There's now glitter all over the book. This is actually probably the fairy loot that I've had for the longest that I haven't yet read, and this is Long Live Evil. So I have been meaning to read this one for a long time. So I'm really excited this came up because, again, this is probably the oldest one I have. I could double check if that's actually true, but it is certainly one of the oldest ones that I have unread. So it's about time I read it. So yeah, and I think April will be a perfect month to start this series. So I'm excited. Now I just need to get the glitter off of it. All right, next roll. Okay. All right. And on to the next one. All right, we got a 5 here. So we've got 1, 2, past the second crash spot, 3, 4, 5. So we are on another Haas spot, so the second team spot. So we'll go back to the second deck here, number 15. Okay. All right, and our next roll was number 15. So we have number 15. All right, let's see what this one is. I shall finally be reading Lessons in Chemistry. I know this was a popular one a long time ago and is now a TV show that I've heard some people enjoy. So maybe it would be fun to read this and then see if I can get Matt to watch the TV show with me, or just watch it on my own. So yeah, I'm excited about this one. This one's a historical fiction that involves someone who starts a cooking show, I think. Anyway, I'm excited. I've heard great things about that one, so that should be a fun one. And then again, I can watch the show. So excellent. All right, next roll. Awesome. And next roll. Okay, we got a 2. So 1, 2. We are at another McLaren spot. So that is the 4th team spot. So we'll go back to this 4th deck here. Number 11. Aren't these cards so cute, by the way? I'm obsessed. And we have number 11. So let's open up number 11. Hey, the recent Elizabeth Lim release. This is A Forgery of Fate, and I absolutely love Elizabeth Lim's writing. It's just so lush, and her worlds are always just so much fun. I don't remember if this is connected to any of her other series or not, or if it's just a completely new story unrelated to any of her other ones. I will double check. But also, look how stunning this cover is, and she obviously has the edges as well. Anyway, it is a stunning book, so I'm always excited for an Elizabeth Lim. I feel like this is a good set of books so far. All right, next roll. All right, next roll. And we have a 6, which should take us 2, 3, 4. Will take us to the checkered flag. And at the checkered flag, for the end spot, I just add a book of my choice. So that'll just be a free pick. And there we go. And we come to the checkered flag for an end spot, which I usually do a free pick. So we didn't get any of the books that had temperature words in the title, which is totally fine. We can work with that. I did, however, mention 0 Days by Ruth Ware. And because I actually have the trade paperback size, and this is number 8 here, and I know it's this one because this is literally the only book I wrapped that was exactly this size, so I know it has to be this one here. So we're just going to go with 0 Days so that I know what I'm opening, and then we will just deal with finding a book that has a temperature related word in the title. I have a few. There's Dawn of the Firebird. There's a book called Firebird. That is a separate book. And then there's Isles of the Emberdark. I figure Ember is close enough to flames, which is kind of a heat related word, so maybe that could work. So I've got a few ideas, but again, all 3 of those are wrapped. So, and I don't know which ones they are. So what I can do is just read one of them on audio, and then whenever in a future video I pull the number and unwrap the one that I've already read, I can just draw another number. Like, it'll be fine. But anyway, so this is going to be my end spot pick, just to at least relieve that little bit of pressure of, adding books to the TBR when I already have a set of them I know I want to read. So let's just go ahead and unwrap this one as well. It's just so satisfying, right? Here we go, 0 Days by Ruth Ware. And I got this one, I think I got this at a Goodwill for, I think, $1. And I wanted to get it, so I don't typically have physical copies of her books because I love her narrator. And so I always listen to them on audio. But I wanted this one just since it was only $1. I kind of honestly got it as a placeholder on my TBR just so that I would really prioritize making sure I got caught up on this one. So, it's fine. It was worth $1 to place that holder on my TBR. So, yeah, let's hold up the stack here. This is a good set for April. All right, can she hold it? Okay. She is strong. She's got this. So, yeah, this is what the, at least TBR Grand Prix TBR is looking like. And then, as I mentioned, I also have the 2 Sarah J. Maas books that I will be reading. So one of them is on the shelf right up there. And then I will be getting a Throne of Glass. I'll be getting Throne of Glass. So there are those 2 added, as well as at least one dystopian. But again, I feel like I could just be in a dystopian mood. I've been loving them lately. And so I figure potentially doing a whole vlog could be fun. So we've got a lot going on. So we've got a dystopian vlog, a birthday vlog, a Sarah J. Maas vlog, a finish the rest of my Magical Readathon books vlog. So if you're interested in any of that, do stick around and please subscribe. If you had fun with my TBR game, let me know. I'm always looking for suggestions to how to kind of bring people in. Maybe I can make like an online version of this or something and kind of bring the community in. We'll see how this works, but I would love ideas. But hopefully you enjoyed the TBR game. If you're a Formula One fan, let me know. I'm very excited that this season has now started. And so April will be a bit of a dry spell though, because the two of the Grand Prix that were going to be happening are no longer going to be happening. But that's a side tangent. But as I said, if you enjoyed this, do subscribe. I also recently put a few things up on an Etsy store. They're bookish designs. So I'll leave my Etsy store link down below. I will also leave my Pango store link down below. I've got some great stuff for sale on my Pango store, used books on my Pango store. So be sure to check that out as well. And I will also leave my Instagram. I've made sure to be active on that recently in the past 2 months. So be sure to check out my Instagram as well. And as I'll also leave more information on how you can support the Black Lives Matter movement. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.